Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. So fun to share with you these stories and this experience with you. Small town basketball. 20 years later, it's still speaking to us. It's drawing us back to it. And we're going back to those seats and sharing some cool stories. Just by hitting that subscribe button, so many people who watch this are not even subscribed. But we've got a bunch of episodes coming your way, and we don't want you to miss anything. By liking, sharing a comment, sharing your thoughts, just cheering us on too. It means a lot, and we thank you so much for it. We got more coming your way. Hometown Pride. Let's get it.
Checking in with the Eagles.
When I think about Ellsworth and I think about that game my senior year, 2002, they were the next best team. We knew they were a young team. We knew they were athletic, we knew they were talented, but we didn't really know a ton about them.
Early on, that never entered my mind that we'd be able to play with a team like Southwest Christian. We were just literally trying to get a couple wins.
Ellsworth was that defining game. They were our first real test.
I remember feeling like, hey, we could win, but I'd be lying if I said I thought we were going to win. I kind of had them on a pedestal.
We'd lost twice throughout the season. Ellsworth was that first real test where we had an anxiety level that kind of woke us up. And I'll say they made us better.
I've never been in a louder gym than that. The Worthington High School is a great atmosphere for playoff basketball.
Hats off to Ellsworth for the athleticism that they displayed, and I will never forget Dylan Qualley and Curt Schilling.
Very quickly in that game, I realized these guys are beatable. We're a really good team too.
We were up at halftime, and we thought we had won the state championship at halftime. I remember very vividly of listening to the radio announcer afterwards. He was saying that we need to keep our heads in the game and that we can't be celebrating too much like we had won the state championship.
You're playing and you've lost for so long. These boys just got to learn how to win. And I could see in them kids' eyes, we got a taste of this. We like this. And the whole town was getting behind them. And what was probably more amazing, the whole area was. We all of a sudden become the Cinderella team and everybody cheered for us.
They let people know that they were going to be a team to be reckoned with, not just that year, but in years to come.
Could this be a fairy tale finish? Over 1,000 Ellsworth fans here.
We thought this game was over, but this is a new Ellsworth team.
1999, Ellsworth was nobody.
So you're off to a great start. So you guys thinking maybe state championship?
We don't care about the stats. We play as a team and we want to win.
If there was ever a team hungry to get back here, it's Ellsworth.
He made the shot. It's history.
Ellsworth has won the state title. There's the entire city of Ellsworth and then some.
I think what really took us to the next level was us as a team, our junior year, making the trip up to the cities.
We welcome you to the XL Energy Center on a beautiful day in the capital city of St. Paul and the 2002 Boys State High School Basketball Tournament.
We sat in the stands, and as we sat there and we watched the state championships play out, to myself, I thought, we could have beat any team that was there, even Southwest, if they had played like that against us during the playoffs.
And now gold medals will be presented Southwest Minnesota Christian.
And I think at that point, we kind of started to understand how good we could possibly be.
I remember after they had gotten us, we were, totally into it. I think that the team really inspired me because I know they started to see it that they could do these things kind of from the summer league. They were just having phenomenal success.
All right. Yeah, guys.
When I saw their confidence getting way up there, I think they brought me more up because I wasn't a 30-year-old coach anymore. I'd credit the players a lot with lifting me up. Their confidence, they're grabbing a ball, they're going out and doing it because that's the way I did things. I didn't wait for somebody to tell me. I'd go out and do it. So that's where I think the Ellsworth thing really caught fire, was with that 01-02 team. All of a sudden, that's where I think we've got, went on for a good solid decade there.
Coach Ken played for a state championship team in North Dakota in the past. He would take his love and experience of the game and try to install it into our team, a team that was in unfamiliar territory. Oak Grove was often brought up, and so did taking pride in what you do. We had great players, but were we willing to learn how to be a great team? We all had a part to play, every day working to create a great team. Team unity was happening, which led to an unfamiliar excitement in the air. Even SWC decided to put us back on the schedule. We wanted to beat these guys so bad.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in Durga, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the.
So at the start of that season, in the preseason, we had a jamboree at Minnesota West. And we would play 20-minute half against another team. They matched us up with Southwest Christian, thinking, hey, why not? They both have a really good team. Southwest Christian is still kind of the top dog. They're 4-time state champions. Ellsworth thinks they have something. Let's match them up. Let's see what we got. In that game, I got fouled on a 3 as the buzzer went off. I made 3 free throws to tie the game. We kind of left there with an unusual feeling. Hey, we're right with them, but yet we still think that we have a lot to prove.
And just set the stage for our regular season matchup, which was coming up 2 to 3 weeks later. They had players, like these dudes were intense. Against most teams, you could probably just kind of stand there with the ball and evaluate, see what's going on, find someone open. You stand there with the ball against a team like Southwest, I mean, they're very well coached. Even guys that are role players, they play hard, they play physical. Those guys will take the ball from you. They had graduated a lot of their most talented guys. So the guys coming up were a little less known, whereas we were now, our class was kind of known when we were juniors, and now we're coming to seniors. And I even were playing against them, and I was just like, holy cow, these no-name guys are good too. These guys are good. They're well coached. I always remember thinking that's about Southwest Christian. No matter who they put on the floor, they're coming for you, for sure.
As somebody from Ellsworth that had never won anything meaningful at a varsity level at that point, it was time to arrive.
And our McDonald's Athlete of the Week is here with us, and he may have asked himself in the past, what's in a name? Well, when your name is Curt Schilling, you might live in Arizona, play Major League Baseball, and earn millions of dollars a season. Or maybe you live in Ellsworth, Minnesota, play high school basketball, score a lot of points, and just reached a milestone of your own. Well, in his junior year, Ellsworth's basketball player is a leading scorer, a conference player of the year, and making some people think twice when they hear the name Curt Schilling. And it's why he's our McDonald's Athlete of the Week.
One thing I remember most, the excitement of the Ellsworth community. Ellsworth is a small community, and when you get something like that, it builds. It builds and it builds.
Tuesday will be on the air before 7 o'clock.
We, as the radio station, always picked up a slate of area games on our FM. We did some of the regular season Ellsworth games, and the thing that amazed me the most is I always got to games early. If there was a 7:30 basketball game, I was usually there by 5. And I showed up at some of those Ellsworth home games at 5, and the gym was already packed. For the B game.
Bounces it off for Jansen. Left side, Qualley open for the three. No good. Rebound, Schilling puts it up and in.
Bruce T was a big part announcing our games, and he would come on early on K101 with ratings. And I still remember that first time when you would hear Ellsworth rated up there, and it was like, just a minute, did we hear that, you know? And you started listening for that, and you got excited to hear, hey, the boys are rated. Ratings don't mean nothing, but it's the fire that was catching.
Having a chance to dethrone Southwest Christian after being 4-time state champions in a row. Everybody in the entire corner of Southwest Minnesota was intrigued by that matchup. I don't think that anybody could have imagined what the scene was going to be. The stage was full, the bleachers were full, and this was all by 5 o'clock.
3 minutes into the game, I was so tired. I was gassed. It's probably like, you know, some of the emotions and the, you know, whatever, and you're going really hard at the beginning. I remember being like 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and I'm like asking, I need a break. It felt like a Hoosiers type game. There's only a few games that you can say that about, but that game was one of them.
The target is on their backs. Let's go and take it.
December 5th, Ellsworth, Minnesota's Curt Schilling reached a milestone of his own. During a win against the defending state champs, Schilling was just 3 points away from 1,000 in his career.
Well, at what point in your release did you know it was in? Right through the follow through. I saw it straight on. I knew it was good.
Actually, where we're sitting right now is pretty close to where I hit my 1,000 point from. It was a 3-pointer from the top of the key in the first half. Having that special moment, having the game stopped, taking that game ball and bringing it to my parents in the crowd was really special.
It's got to be a pretty big milestone for him as a junior. When they see Curt doing 1,000, some people are going like that, you know, because he has that ability.
At 1,000 points, that's almost 2 points for every person living in Ellsworth.
And to win that game, the excitement of hitting that point that night, I mean, we charged, everybody brushed the floor after we won that.
I remember after the buzzer sounded, I think Curt's running up the sideline with his hand up in the air with the one finger up, and we had won the state championship in December.
And I know one guy from Southwest says to me, you guys act like you just won the state tournament. This is as close as we've ever been.
Man, I wish I would have been more prepared and not celebrated after we just won that game. If I would have been smarter about it, I would have just shook hands and walked off the court. Because I realized right away, like, okay, great, we're gonna see those guys again in the playoffs, and this win, while it was a cool monkey off our back to say we beat Southwest, really didn't matter that much. After that point, it did before that, but now it's like, okay, there's a lot of work to do, because it was like the third game of the season. Now it was time to really get to work and get better.
Curt Schilling is our Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I know this has been a real fun ride here with this 1,000th point and all that, but really, more importantly, your team is doing great. That's going to make it even more fun.
Yeah, our team has just gelled this year. It's just been really great. I mean, years before, haven't had very good teams. I mean, I was on varsity as an 8th grader. We had 2 wins that year. My freshman year, we had 5 wins. Last year, we had 20 wins. This year, we already have 7 at Christmas break.
Well, you're off to a great start, 7-0. Are you guys thinking maybe state championship?
You can't think ahead that far, but it's nice to see it as a goal set for you, you know.
Curt was the man. Everybody knows that we would not have been where we were without Curt. Curt had to do his 25 and 15 every night. Dylan had to do his 20. I had to do my 14-10. And Blake had to knock down a few shots, and Travis had to do his deflections of 8 as much as he could. I mean, we would not have been where we were without Travis. I remember in practice, we would run the back-to-back ladders. Coach Qualley would always have us do at the end of practice, and Travis would always make us run more. I think that we would not have been as good as what we were without them. I know Adam in particularly, he's the one that really drove me to get better. Seeing him at the court every single day, you know, I had started since I was an 8th grader. There was nobody going to take my starting spot when I was a senior. But then all of a sudden I see this new kid come to town. He's shooting baskets every single day. I need to get out there and start shooting, otherwise somebody's going to take my spot.
We were winning games. Times they were changing in Ellsworth. This was new, but it was December. You gotta win in March.
Game 2 that year, Adrian, Ellsworth. The confidence must have been left in the bus that day. We're down 24-12. A lot of adjustments I made, I used to try to make them on defense. They had 2 Knips brothers. They were 6'8", 6'9". We went into a box and won. We hadn't even hardly worked on it. Our coach did that to me at Oak Grove, where we'd have to cerebral. We'd have to really use our head. I said, hey, Dylan, I've been hanging around with you for a long time. He has a good spread. He got in front of him, got good help from behind with Brandt and Curt, etc. I was very proud of that game, but it was close.
Qualley allowed us to play some freelance basketball, and that's what we were pretty good at, really. We didn't need to be structured. We had intelligent players on the floor. We knew where the ball needed to go. We knew what needed to happen. Different situations called for different people to step up and do their part.
Schilling.
And he allowed us to be in that kind of freedom offense. Talk about Brandt Deitch, one of the most intelligent basketball players that I've ever dealt with from a high school to a college level. He just understood what was best for the team, what he needed to do, what was going to give us the best option to win, the best chance to win. You talk about Dylan Qualley, throughout his high school career, continued to get better and better and better. A defensive stopper. It didn't matter what we were doing, but we were always competitive with what we were doing.
I think maybe the Camden groomed us for, now that I think of it, because all those Camden games were close. So we were groomed for close games. But look at, we still had that hard of a time to get by them. You would think with that much homework and our guys coming back that we can win by 8 and 10. But when you've been a dynasty like that, we win by 5, but they seemed like an overtime game. Then we had to go to the next one, and that was Southwest already.
In 2002, all the pressure was on them. Their guys had been there, done that. They had won a couple state titles. They had all the seniors, and most of our guys were juniors, and even our leader, Curt, was a sophomore. There was no pressure that year. But then the next year it was like, if we don't win, this is a huge disappointment.
In the rematch, they stayed with us.
remember in the third quarter, in a close game, I remember Dylan coming to the huddle and, all right, this is what we need to do. We need to get Curt Schilling the ball every single time down the floor. And that's what we did. We went through him the rest of the game.
I remember going back to watch that game. I remember sitting right behind the bench of Ellsworth. I was so angry. I remember yelling at Curt Schilling, and he turned around and chimed back at me. And to this day, I honestly, Curt, I have regrets. It was not a respectful moment on my behalf, coming from where I came from, the values that I have. I didn't respect how competitive Ellsworth was. I didn't respect how talented they were. But it was my competitiveness, the fact that they're going to take this away from us. And it's crazy how, even though I was gone, I was removed from the moment, still so in the moment.
When Southwest Christian decided that they didn't want to play us anymore because we weren't very good, that was a real hard pill to swallow for all of us. That was probably one of the most monumental games. When we beat them, that was a highlight.
I think I remember more about the playoff game against Southwest Christian than I do any of the other playoff games. I think that was our state championship, was to beat them, to be the team that knocked off the 4-time defending state champions. That was it.
This year, the Section 3A South coaches have selected Ellsworth Panthers.
We were the subsection 3A champions. One game away from sending a team to state. We were in uncharted territory, in the furthest any Ellsworth team had ever made it.
Please come forward and accept their Section 3A championship trophy.
Southwest Christian was a major obstacle, a major win. And when it really counted, Ellsworth had done the unbelievable, knocking off the 4-time champs. To do what they did, you still have to win another game in a few days, just to get a chance to play in the state tournament in the Twin Cities.
Ellsworth fans, I know this is a Southwest Christian player, but he came to USF and we are Cougars together. So I know we don't like Southwest and it's okay to not like them, but we're Cougars and that's why we're connecting in this moment.
Quality's such a mismatch at a 6'5" guard, a point guard no less. It's such a size mismatch, it creates problems, and oftentimes that mismatch becomes the key to the game for the Panthers.
Quali and Dan Mathiowicz in the center circle. We're about ready to go. Biggest game of Ellsworth's history.
Dylan Quali was a huge part of our team. We kind of all came into the huddle, and there's probably about, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes left in the game. And Quali says, "What do you guys want to do?" I said, "Dylan and I need to go to one side of the court, and we need to play pick and roll basketball, and that's how we need to finish this game out if they're going to stay man. If they're going to allow us to go a 2-on-2 game, it's over." And so for the next 8 possessions, we just did a pick and roll game, and we scored every single time down the court. And he didn't look at me and say, "You shouldn't be talking right now." He looked at me and said, "Great idea, let's run with it." You know, that's just the kind of coach that he was. He really took what we had to heart, and he believed in us, and we, in turn, believed in him too.
It up anyway, short, Schilling in the air for the rebound. Long pass ahead, Quali. Quali will go up, and jams it home! Dylan Quali with the jam, 75-62 ball knocked out of bounds. The Ellsworth Panthers are going to state. What a Cinderella story of this Panther basketball team. They can feel it now.
Oh yeah, they know it's coming. I think Schilling knew it was coming after his big basket underneath, and definitely after Quali jammed that one home.
The region committee and the entire section wishes Ellsworth the best of luck at the state tournament next week.
We're going to try to get Coach Ken Qualley over here, maybe some of the Panthers over to talk, as 4 of the 5 starters in double figures tonight. Finally getting going to get probably one of the most popular guys over here tonight.
The guy that really loves to do this, right?
Well, you get good at this, Coach. Congratulations.
I'm eating this up. I brought a couple of the guys, a couple of what we called last time our unsung heroes. You can see Drummer here came up huge tonight.
Big game. Blake, were you feeling it out there a little bit tonight?
Oh yeah, they're a tough team.
14 points tonight. You hit a couple of big threes in that first half. You must have been feeling pretty good about it.
I was feeling good tonight. I come out. I thought I'd take a few shots. They just kept falling, so I just kept shooting.
What's this feel like to you?
It feels great. First time ever. We're going to make it worthwhile.
Travis Jenigas, the only starter not in double figures, but his 4 points were huge. No guy plays harder than this guy, Coach.
Yes, he's a hard-working man.
Congratulations, Travis.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. It feels wonderful.
You didn't have many points tonight, 4 points, but your 2 baskets were huge.
I ain't the one that has to score. I leave that up to Curt and Dylan. I leave that up to the other guys. Tell you what, Blake Brummer, he's awesome tonight. I mean, when we need a guy to step up, he steps it up. When we play as a team, we don't care who's got all the points, and we don't care about the stats. We play as a team, we want to win.
Great job on rebounding, especially on the defensive board.
Yes.
You got in there and boxed out.
Got going. We didn't go away. The guys hung in there, and that's what they're paid to do. Oh no, you guys. That's what we love. He knows that's my humor.
Everybody last year at state tournament when I was up there said, watch out for that Ellsworth club next year, and that's a lot of pressure on the team, but you guys overcame that pressure.
I told the guys all year long, you still have to prove yourself.
It's really a big thing for the community of Ellsworth.
Yeah, it is. You can see that. Yelled pretty loud too tonight. I'm glad my brother could make it this time too, because I grew up playing basketball with him, and we've been through a lot together, he and I. So
you got to be real happy with your son, Dylan.
He got the dunk, which bailed him out on the free throws. I've been hanging. You know, when you have him, I've been hanging around. He's a Christmas Eve baby. He was born on Christmas Eve. I know how he is. He wanted to get to the line at the end. You know why? He's adjusting his free throw a little bit. Then he missed again. I don't know if you noticed him. He's still there to look. Like, I didn't get that. Like it's probably just those quality genes. I don't know, but yeah, I'm proud of all the guys. They all did a very, very good job.
Congratulations on the win. We'll see you Tuesday night, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Coach Ken Qualley with us, and the Panthers are moving on to state as they defeat the Wabasso Rabbits tonight, 75-64 the final. I'm Bruce Dahlhuber for K101 Sports saying goodnight from Marshall.
Ellsworth was in uncharted territory. Walking into that gym felt surreal.
The first game at Gustavus Adolphus against New Life Academy, absolutely packed gymnasium. Had to be 3,000 to 4,000 people there.
Honestly, that's one of the games I remember the most, and I think it's probably because I didn't play very well. I think that was just the game where Curt, just his ability and his scoring were just front and center more than ever. That game he had about 34 points and ones late in overtime, and just grinding and just willing us to victory when we should have lost a couple different times, and we just found a way to win.
To do the things that we did there and come out victorious in a double overtime thriller was absolutely unbelievable. Going to the big stage, going with all the big bright lights, performing at a high level was incredible.
Pack up the babies and grab the old ladies and everyone goes, like the old Neil Diamond song, right? And so everybody just heads out of Dodge. I'm almost speechless there. That part reminded me of North Dakota. All the tournaments there, it's a festive time. And their support, you know, when we were there and after that is phenomenal.
so I've gotten this one a lot in my life. So I almost got ejected as a third grader.
When Curt played, Casey got the job as running back and forth, getting the crowd going. Well, after he did that, he thought it was pretty cool to stand in the stands with the big guys, and high school guys.
Just like that, there was a guy that had 5 fouls on the screen.
And these kids said, somebody better let the ref know because they're not making that kid go out.
Me being a little third grader, I didn't think much about it. I went on the floor and I tapped the ref on the back of the shoulder. Hey sir, he has 5 fouls, and he goes, no, it's wrong on the scoreboard. I said, okay, thanks, and I start walking back, and just like that, security grabs me, and they're acting like I'm this big criminal when I'm a little 9-year-old kid.
What do you do as mom and dad?
Well, I stayed there first, and my sister said, I'll go handle him. We're, going to double overtime here. Casey came back and sat by us. So, all worked out.
Going to the big city when it was something that you went because you did something special.
We were really naive. We were going up there. We didn't know where we were supposed to go, but after that we found out fast. Well, the first time we went up there, we got in the hotel and all the boys put their suitcases down, and Curt said, let's go over and watch the basketball game. What are you going to do with your suitcases? Oh, we'll get them when we get back. Guys, we're in the cities now. Larry was the bus driver, and he was going to be there at 9 o'clock. And the banquet was over way early. So they decided, well, if he comes at 9 o'clock and nobody's here, he's going to wonder where in the world everybody was. And so then I stayed there. About 10:30, here comes Larry. I thought you were back at the hotel with all the kids because I saw all the boys there. He said, I didn't realize that you were still down here.
Ellsworth, just over 50 students, Red Lake, up in northwest Minnesota, 214. So they're one of the larger schools in this 1A bracket.
The enrollment numbers is always what was fascinating to me. We looked at Ellsworth and it was 46 people, 10 through 12. And then you look at the team we're going against and they were 160. How the heck are we competing with these people?
First, the reserves for the visiting team, the Section 3 champions. A record now 28-2, the Ellsworth Panthers. 6'5" junior, number 21, Dylan Qualley.
My senior year, we did a good job of just kind of taking it one game at a time. Part of me, I don't want to say I doubted it, but God, could we really win a state championship? It was one game at a time. We enjoyed the progression. It was just a fun season, and we had some games where we got beat, and that was fine too. That helped us grow.
6'3" junior, number 11, Curt Schilling.
Being able to play at the Target Center, just on another level. Obviously, the competitiveness in all of us. We were state championship or bust.
Shake. There's Ken Qualley, loosening up the tie a little bit as they jump it up. Red Lake, the home team in red, trimmed in black and white.
Red Lake is known for their tough team defense.
Getting by the pressure right away. Qualley, what a pass to Schilling, yes! Brummer fed him. Good, quick pace to this one. There's Dominic Johnson, 16 points per game. We heard you. 3-ball. Got it. The Warrior fans are on their feet on the Architect scoreboard.
Going to the Target Center was just like, a dream come true. Can't even imagine that. No teams had done it before, so when we went, it was unheard of, so it was surreal.
Is a very good offensive player.
Qualley, count it!
A nice end-to-end play. It's a very good, strong move.
Here comes Dylan Qualley behind the back. Too much. Back to Schilling, who's the man on the spot.
In the right place at the right time. That's where Curt Schilling can do his damage.
Doug Desjardins wants to talk about it. The lead is down to 1.
That was a nice quick move going underneath, going to use the rim for protection.
Here's Jennings, speaking of. Inside, nice pass. The pump fake is good for Blake Brummer. We stay tied at 23-11 for Dominic Johnson, and he's got the ball, going to try to add to it. You know he wants to shoot it. Rejected by Qualley. And that's the half. Ellsworth responds in the second quarter, outscoring Red Lake 13-9.
Coach, second quarter, it seems that you got that into a little more the style you'd like to see.
We got some people that should be taking it to the hole and aren't, and that's what we need to address. Get some intensity. I think we're a little bit on the right track now. I think it was like 18-12. We came back a little bit, and then we let it go a little bit again there. But if we just keep up the intensity, we should be okay, I think.
Doug Desjardins has given the duties here for the halftime interview to his assistant, Kevin Siganoff. We've been able to see Dominic, that Dominic can dominate. This guy can do just about everything for you guys.
Oh, definitely. But he can't do it alone. You know, he's got to have some help. And as you can see, you know, from the first half, he does need the help. And that was one of the adjustments we made in the locker room. You know, we need team ball. One person can't do it.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. That's Red Lake. The Warriors with a 2-point lead here at half. Jeff and Trent.
The third quarter is next as Fox 9's coverage of the 2003 boys basketball tournament continues from the Target Center. And a steal by Blake Brummer as he hits the deck hard. Crossover dribble, tough jumper. That's Chris Mullen, 101.
And the pull-up jump shot from 18 feet. Oh, that was a thing of beauty. His father is a good teacher because you can see how his son plays the game.
Qualley in traffic. Yes, what a move! Dylan Qualley is taking over. He and Schilling lead Ellsworth with 13 each. What a swing, Dominic Johnson, and it's going to go the Panthers' way. And that's the horn at the end of the third quarter. There's Dominic Johnson with a left hand. He puts Red Lake up by 1. 3, that ball was tipped. Putting in the rebound, Brent Deutsch. Every possession vital now. From downtown for 3.
Yeah! Oh, are you kidding me? I feel you, big fella.
Schilling swings it. Jansen. That's a big hole. But he's been a primetime player. Yes!
Yes, indeed he has.
Jennings, yes, and it counts! Ellsworth leads by 1 as we near the midway point of the fourth quarter. Reach-in foul, and Goodwin just fouled out of the game.
Team defense, right? Finish it. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, team.
What a game for Dylan Qualley. He's got 17 points, and he has to cover Dominic Johnson. Fight for the board. Rebound goes to Brent Deutsch. Here comes Qualley. Another bust out. He's going all the way.
That should do it.
Ellsworth, in its first appearance, will play for the championship.
To go to the state tournament after dethroning the 4-time straight champions, to get to the state championship and play at the Target Center where the NBA players are playing, it's just a remarkable tribute to just being at that game.
You saw the handshakes there between Schilling and Johnson. Schilling had 21, Dominic Johnson with 24, and Dylan Qualley was a huge difference maker in the second half. He had 19. So Ellsworth, with an enrollment of 52, will go for the state title tomorrow at lunchtime. As you see Ken Qualley, he's got the animation of a young player.
He's very, very fired up. I mean, he wears his emotion on his sleeve, and you can see how his players play.
Enjoyed every moment of it. We're having send-off parties before every game. We're having return parties. The fire trucks are leading us into town, and that whole deal. So yeah, it was awesome.
Here with Dylan Qualley, our Midwest Dairy Player of the Game. Dylan, and how fast-paced was it just being out there on the floor?
Well, this is just a dream come true. I mean, we've worked hard for this all season, and Red Lake's a great team, and I give them a lot of credit. They played their hearts out. They never went away, but neither did we. And we've been able to pull out the close games this year, so just did it one more time.
You really seemed to take over in the second half and help Ellsworth get in front, take that lead, and then hang on.
Yeah, I started off kind of slow when I went to the locker room at halftime, and just my coach, my dad, actually told me to start taking to the hole in the second half, and that's what I did, and he was right. I ended up having a good game.
Your dad looks like he was out there playing. He starts with the tie on. By the end, the tie is off. He gets into it.
It's the second time for him. He was out there playing. 34 years ago tomorrow, my dad won a state championship, so.
19 points for Dylan Qualley, and the Ellsworth Panthers are in the Class 1A championship game here tomorrow from Target Center. Ellsworth in a thriller over Red Lake.
As you see the Panther fans having a good time here. They're kind of the little engine that could up in Ellsworth at 25-1. They defeated Southwest Minnesota Christian, the 4-time defending champion, not once, but twice. They won early in the season by 8, 57-49 on December 5th. And then they won in the section semifinal on March 8th, 50-45. So you get to the championship game by knocking off the 4-time defending champion. That'll get you some pub.
Behind the scenes, people don't realize what Mr. Qualley did as far as the hard work he put into that team that went first. And he worked hard to know what every team was going to do. He had every team broken down, and I don't think people saw what he all put into it.
I remember at one point, my dad's going and scouting Mankato-Loyola and watching their games in the middle of the season. We'd have a game on Monday night, Tuesday night. Next night, my dad's driving to Mankato, and I remember my mom saying, "Oh, you're going to go with your dad and watch Mankato-Loyola again? You guys are only going to play them if you make it to the state championship." Kudos to him, because we ended up, it ended up progressing to that where both teams, 1 and 2 in the state all year, made it all the way to the championship.
Ellsworth head coach Ken Qualley went to scout Mankato-Loyola a few times during the season. Coach had a feeling, and here it is.
When I'm driving around now as a retired coach, I thank the Lord every day. Thank you, Lord, that I had 3 years of one of the best teams in the state of Minnesota in any class. A guy like Bobby Knight would be proud of us, the esprit de corps that we have now. We took care of business there, but we're all still good friends now. One of my players said recently, boy, it doesn't seem like that long ago, and it doesn't. I mean, sometimes you look back and man, it's going to come up on 18 and 20 years. Any coach is going to say that. I'm much more proud of what they've done in life. I'm proud of the guys that are succeeding in farming and business and so on. When it's all said and done, I'm very thankful for what we were able to do there for 4 or 5 years.
For Ellsworth out of forward, 6'2" senior number 33, Brent Deitch. 6'1" senior number 35, Blake Brummer. Center 6'3" junior number 11, Curt Schilling. Number 9 senior number 13, Travis Jennings. Ellsworth at guard, 6'5" senior number 21, Dylan Qualley.
Could this be a fairy tale finish? Over 1,000 Ellsworth fans here in just a town of 550. Everyone surrounding the Cinderella.
Total opposite routes to this championship game. Mankato-Loyola had an easy time, and Ellsworth played one of the more exciting games at Target Center.
Right now, Jeff, you can see Mankato has gone to his own defense, trying to slow down the inside game of Curt Schilling. And for the Panthers to loosen up the inside, they must make some outside shots.
Westman gets it back.
Westman doing his thing and doing it very well.
I thought again we were so hard pressed for time. Playing basketball at 10 and noon, I guess I shouldn't be making excuses, but we were fortunate to get by in all those last 3 games. I think we were fortunate to win 2 out of 3.
Ken Qualley said this is sort of like an out-of-body experience for the people of Ellsworth, coming along for this Hoosiers-type ride this year.
Coming down to the big city, huh?
Yep, first time ever. And what's fun about this game, is first-time champion is guaranteed. Schilling, baseline. He's got Brillmeyer right in his face, but on the rebound, Grant Deutsch gets Ellsworth on the board.
Going to the glass, when you're not shooting well from the outside, you have to find a way to get some second and third chances to help your situation.
They went more than 5 minutes without scoring, but the Panthers are only down by 4. Qualley, right side, on the baseline. Tough drive! That's exactly what Loyola wants. Schilling from downtown.
Right now, he's shown the ability to shoot the ball from downtown.
He has 9, and Ellsworth has its first lead of the game on a 3 by Curt Schilling. Right away to Schilling. Tough shot, no. He thought he had a three-point play.
He's a tough kid. He doesn't mind contact, and then the quick step to get between 3 defenders to earn a trip to the foul line.
Schilling with 13.
Huge boost for the Panthers as they go into halftime with a chance to tie this basketball game.
He'll heave it up there. And we go to halftime tied at 27. Curt Schilling with 15 points to lead everybody. A 21-point second quarter for Ellsworth. Coach, you started out down 6-0. Now we have this thing tied up at the half.
We're still trying to feel them out a little bit and vice versa. But maybe we surprised them a little bit. They came out with that typical confidence that they always have. I think we just got to keep playing Panther basketball like I know they will with their team. So we just got to keep doing our thing, doing our job, you know. So.
All right, Coach, we won't waste that voice anymore. Coach, you guys have basically walked through the playoffs here, have not been in a tight game. How are your kids going to respond to this?
I think we'll respond well, Ryan. We're looking forward to the second half. We usually finish strong, and we got to pick it up on the boards, though. We're getting out rebounded right now, and we talked about that, getting backside help and helping the helper. So hopefully get it done in the second half.
Will you do anything special with Qualley?
We just want to get the ball into Tyler Westman a little bit more. He's been considered one of the best players in Class A, so we got to get him more touches.
How about defensively, though, guarding against Qualley and trying to slow him down?
Well, Schilling's actually hurting us more right now. We got to get somebody to slip in behind and get some backside help there on Schilling. And we're going to maybe run a little bit more zone, take away that penetration.
Like Ryan said, most of their wins have been one-sided.
Right. And, now they're in a dogfight for the first time. And it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to a close game here at halftime as they enter into the second half.
Yeah, I think the Crusaders are looking around a little bit right now. They normally beat teams by an average of 24 points a game. Yesterday, they smashed Hancock by 25. Mankato-Loyola has got to realize that, hey, this team came to play. Ellsworth brought all these people down here to their target center. They're not going to go home easily.
And you heard Jeff, the head coach from Mankato, say we may play more zone defense in the second half to take away the inside game of Curt Schilling. So now the Panthers perimeter players must step up and make some outside shots.
Timeout called. Can Qualley, seeing this game, get away from his team just a little bit?
Dylan's shots weren't going the way they usually do. Travis, I don't think, was taking them. Blake wasn't taking the shot.
A 10th turnover and a frustration foul by Grant Deutsch. So now Loyola will shoot. 10 turnovers in the half for Ellsworth. Well, you saw Adam Sieff check in, number 23. Look at that heavily taped thumb.
We had one of our key players that was a good shooter from the outside. I think you know who I'm talking about. And we could have used some of those corner shots because he was money out there.
Ellsworth fans trying to get some energy into their Panthers. And they need to do it now because Loyola is threatening to put this thing away. Schilling almost traveled. Jansen for 3. They need that.
That's a big hoop.
Back to 8.
Tom was hitting a couple like Adam would have hit. Tom could have taken another 1 or 2. And even Adam came in and scored. And, you just don't know what to do. But the guy's got a cast on his arm and stuff like that.
Sieff, how does he grip the basketball with 2 hands? Inside, Jennings from Qualley, and it's back to 6. The Panthers will not go away.
Good patience, good poise on the offensive end to swing the ball just enough to find the inside hoop.
They forced the timeout. Grillmeyer, I think, one of the keys in the second half.
I got to give them a lot of credit. They had 3 players that played in college. They got one guy that's assistant coach in the NBA nowadays. And then another player that was player of the year.
Schilling for 3, grazed the rim. Rebound Nelson. Schilling and Deutsch were both there. They give it to Schilling and he's gone.
It's a very bad break from the Panthers to lose their best player to foul trouble.
Now he gets a standing ovation. He leaves with 17 points.
That zone defense was very tough for him to find any space. Outside shooters could not knock down outside shots, so Curt Schilling found no space to operate with.
Travis Jenigas fouls out. Adam Sieff checks back in. Leaves with 4. What a ride this has been for Ellsworth, the team, and its fans.
The way down from the mountaintop is steep.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
We didn't want it to be over, but the run was done.
When you get what you want, but not what you need.
It was the furthest anyone from our town had ever made it.
Feel so tired, but you can't sleep. Stuck in river.
We got beat by an amazing team. We had a mixture of pride and letdown.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
Since Ellsworth had never been to a state tournament like this before, we didn't know what to expect.
Not what you need.
The cars lined up for miles, picking us up at Adrian where the ambulance is, and every road you went past, there was 4 more cars, 5 more cars, and there was just a line of cars that were following the bus back into town. Finally get into the gym. Our bleachers were packed. I remember George Burns' speech. Bruce Thalhuber, he was our MC for the night. He gave a speech about how awesome it was to see a small town go through this.
What a Cinderella story, this Panther basketball team. The Ellsworth Panthers are going on to state.
They were so excited about that basketball team. I was able to feel like I was a part of that run.
I'm Bruce Thalhuber for K101 Sports saying goodnight from Marshall.
That first state tournament trip, walking in to the arena and seeing that big area of gold and those fans so excited to be there and so appreciative of being there.
I can remember at the coming home party, he looked at all the younger ones and he said, your mission is to get out onto the basketball court and shoot on your time because we're not done here.
Thanks for the memories. And I think on the back of this shirt it says never give up. And they didn't. And it was just kind of, I felt like the mother or the grandma of the kids. And no, it's a part of my life I wouldn't give up again.
That next Sunday, in that afternoon, was a beautiful day. The court behind the school was jam-packed with kids shooting baskets. They all wanted to be us. They all wanted to do what we did.
That was kind of the coolest part about the 03 team, is seeing something you've never seen before. I'd never been to the Target Center. Just seeing these places and seeing my brother and the team all play on there, it was just something cool, and it's something you'll never forget.
They never walked around with their head up in the clouds. They encouraged us. They would come to our open gyms after they were out of high school. They were physically bigger, we had to work against them. They'd come to our open gym so we had someone more difficult to practice against. They always supported us, they cheered us on, they always built us up and encouraged us.
What I remember most about that 03 team, you had Curt, you had Dylan, you had Brant, and those three, they were kind of the three-headed monster a little bit. Like, those were the three that everybody talked about. But then you think about guys like Travis Genicus. So I remember him running into the wall at Ellsworth one time and like chipping his front tooth, and he kind of threw it off to the side and just kept playing. Travis was one of those guys where he was always going to be the toughest, hardest working kid on the court. He would guard anybody, he wasn't afraid of a challenge. And Blake Grummer was another guy like Josh Nolte. He could space the floor, he could shoot it with his feet set. You think about every year and every team has those couple glue guys, and Travis and Blake were really those first glue guys that kind of made that 03 team really special.
Travis Genicus, I was just fascinated by how hard he played, and I can still remember, I think it was at Marshall. Have you ever seen the Dennis Rodman pick where he's like going for that rebound and he's like laid flat out going into the stands? Like, I remember Travis Genicus doing that, going over half court to save a ball. Those crazy games that I saw you guys play in, and your guys' battles with Southwest Christian and all that stuff, like every little basketball player's dream is to go to the NBA because you see all the stardom and all that stuff. Well, you guys were the superstars to these farm kids in Ellsworth, Minnesota.
I remember being in the crowd. All I remember saying, and I think it was between Aaron and I, we're going to get back here someday. But it took hard work, it took dedication, but it took that 03 team kind of paving the way for that 6, 7, and 8 run to even happen.
We lost a lot of seniors that year. Curt was the only one that came back. And people who we least expected stepped it up, put a lot into the basketball game. You just didn't think that was going to continue.
The 03 team started this. Without you guys, who knows whether we would have went to state 4 years in a row, 5 years in a row. I think that's kind of interesting, the ripple effect that 03 team had for so many years.
What a run this has been for Ellsworth. Absolutely unbelievable. What a pleasure it has been to watch these guys play over the years, to be able to call their games. I feel humbled and I feel very honored. Thank you, Ellsworth fans. We appreciate it. Hope to see you down the road. Bruce Thalliver saying good night from the Target Center.
Yeah, that was a one take, Bruce. I'm impressed with the one take, man.
Well, sometimes you get lucky.
Does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? Oh, how I'm beginning to be an optimist about this. How I'm beginning to be an optimist about this. If you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all?
You made it to the end of episode 3. What a journey it's been so far, and I feel like we're just getting started. I was on that team 2003, number 23. I was a part of the supportive cast. Injury during lunch, we would hurry up and eat lunch, and then there'd be a little bit of time in the middle of the day to shoot around, and I ended up breaking my thumb. But I went from supporting cast to being supportive with the cast. It put me from on the court to courtside seats right next to my brother. He was the manager. And now the both of us are still going back to this incredible story. Over 20 years later, we're coming back here to that same spot and sharing this incredible story. We'd ask you to like, subscribe, comment, share. It just helps us to keep going. And we've got more stories to tell about Section 3A basketball, about small towns, There's more to come. Hometown Pride coming your way.